I want to start off by giving all glory, praises, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the brothers that's teaching this truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect, the 1/3 sincere listeners. All right. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai being the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right. This gospel and this truth, salvation, the kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites and the Israelites only, who are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the ones scattered abroad that may look like the other nations, where your spirit resonates with this truth, this gospel, the kingdom of heaven, salvation is for you. All right. I just wanted to do a response to this video. I uploaded a clip of this video separately because when I try and find where Trump says these things, there's various executive orders and various press conferences that he has, you're not going to find a detailed, pinpointed video on these major news outlets, right? So I took it upon myself to use this Jake's video and clip certain parts of it and pretty much use it as a warning for Jake, for you Israelites. All right, Jacob's trouble. And like I said, it was used to be set up as a warning. All right, that way, if you come across that video, at least you know it's there, and it's not taken down or whatever. It's there for now. Let's put it that way. All right. I wanted to just respond, add my 2 cents, bring out a few scriptures to this, and then that's it. So Lord, will you be edified?
We'll bring back public safety and defend our communities for law-abiding American citizens. We need, look, the crime is most rampant right here and in African American communities, and more people see me and they say, sir, we want protection. We want police to protect us. We don't want to get robbed and mugged.
That sounds like an Edomite. That sounds like an Edomite that moved into a so-called black neighborhood trying to gentrify the neighborhood. Or gentrify, not that they try, they actually do it. Gentrification, it's a big thing. It's a big thing in major cities. Okay, ask about it in New York, here in Toronto, any major city across North America, especially Babylon. Gentrification is a big deal. But Jake historically don't really want to deal with the police, even if they're a law-abiding citizen. Jake don't really care to deal with the police like that. The so-called black woman, she'll call the cops on her man, the domestic disputes, right? And if the man is smart enough and he gets into a domestic dispute, he'll end up calling the cops to get a bitch out of his house or whatever. I don't know, depending on the situation, right? But other than that, Jake ain't really calling the cops for too much, And why should you? It's in your spirit to not, it's in your spirit to want to handle, justice in your own hands. But at the end of the day, the Lord said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So we have to wait upon Yahweh Shem Shai, and we can't do things out of order, right? But this comment that he made is not true. I don't believe that people are going to him and saying, Israelites, so-called black people are saying that we need protection and we need more policed neighborhoods and whatnot. I honestly don't believe that. You know, it's all a ploy. It's a Trojan horse, and you niggas don't understand that. You niggas are blind to the fact that this is all a Trojan horse to get you in a predicament. And as I'm reading this, or as I'm saying this, because I'm outside, I'm just out with nature, whatever. But I just seen two cardinals. So Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahshai for that, because that's just that's just the beauty of the Lord. You know what I mean? Now back to the topic at hand. You Jakes, like I said, historically you don't really like the police. It was always F the police, right? So for Donald Trump to say these things, you know it's not true.
Beat up or killed because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly. The fake news doesn't talk about it.
Right,
but the black population,
they want it so badly. I'm so sure. The black population. So you're the advocate of the black population, right? So-called black. We're not black, right? But it is what it is. This is what they labeled, us, so to speak. And it's only gonna get worse. It's gonna, go into scientific racism. They just want an excuse to blow a nigga head away, right? But guess what? The elect is gonna be protected from all this. So we're not gonna worry about all that, because why? We're not gonna be caught up in nigger protests and shit like that. When the cops blow away a nigga, we're not gonna be out there protesting with you niggas. All right, that's all CIA backed. You're in the fucking protest with agents. You don't even fucking know it. We're not gonna be there with you niggas, man. We're gonna be in the comfort of our home. We're gonna be drinking wine and watching this place be destroyed, man. On all fronts, right?
Law enforcement more than any other population. So I think it's an important thing to say.
The black population wants more law enforcement more than any other population, although they're already heavily policed, heavily looked down upon, heavily populating the prisons. They want more law enforcement on them, right? And this is the problem. This is the issue. This is what you niggas are not understanding, because you quote unquote well-to-do niggas, you middle class niggas, because you're still niggas. I don't give a fuck how much money you have in your bank account. You're not in the hood, right? You don't live in the fucking hood. You don't live in the ghetto. You're still niggas. You know why? Because you never turned back here. You never turned to the Lord. You never turned back to the Lord. You never repented, right? So you're still niggas in the mind, because you want to be Edomites. You want the White House and picket fence, just like the Edomite man. And that's a niggard mentality, man. We supposed to be getting the fuck up out of this place. And Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahshai, I clipped this video to 144. I didn't even plan to do that. It was just a spirit. So, anyways.
Joe Biden and the defund the police Democrats have turned our once great cities into cesspools of bloodshed and crime. There's never been anything like it. Here's my plan to restore law and order in our cities and throughout our country, frankly. First, because police forces have been gutted by Democrats' war on police, I will sign a record investment in hiring, retention, and training for police officers nationwide. So important. This bill will also increase vital protections for officers, because the Democrats want to take those protections away from our police, because we want them to do their jobs right. You can't take their protections away if you go to...
Right, so basically, that being said, if a cop, Edomite cop or any cop, but really he's Edomite cops, because really it's an Edomite thing. It's no different than the slave catcher. These cops are just slave catchers. They catch slaves to put them in their prison industrial complex, right? So it's no different. But pretty much he wants them to rule with impunity and diplomatic immunity, pretty much. So he'll have the lawyers to back and to back these police officers if they use brute force and whatnot, try and justify their actions, whether they killed a Jake, an Israelite, a so-called black person, or they use grievous bodily harm towards them, right? And they get, they might want to sue, and then they'll have the lawyers ready to counter sue or protect them from being sued or whatever the case may be, to where their actions become okay, right? But this is what we wanted anyways from the cruel Lord. You niggas are hard headed, man. Because for the amount of wickedness you niggas be doing, you don't want to adhere to the prophets. You want to love the white man. You want to love all his ways. You're going to love the ways when he beats your ass too. Takes your ass out and kills you out in the street, man. It is what it is. Because you don't want to hear the prophets. So what more can we do? The Lord's going to have to intervene and have to, use this sword. Right? The Lord's going to have to use this sword. So let's get KJV. Psalm 17:13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. That's right, because the Lord has appointed this Edomite to be the sword of you Israelites, man. Okay? To punish you. Alright? Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right? Therefore, like I said, they had a perpetual hatred and they're forcing the sword on these Israelites, man. And this is all part of it. Okay? But these Edomites are going to be used as the hammer of the Lord to pretty much rebuke these 2/3 with righteous judgment and indignation, man. Because they got to get it. All right?
Them do their jobs properly. Second, to qualify for this new funding and all other Justice Department grants, I will insist that local jurisdictions return to proven common sense policing measures, such as stop and frisk.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Stop and frisk. 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 Stop and frisk.
Stop and frisk. You see it. You see it there. Stop and frisk. So, what was it? It was Toronto had something like that, earlier. I think it's called Tavis or whatever. But it pretty much, it was like jump out boys, like for the police, like they're a jump out gang, like they'd be sliding around, what do you call it? Not impoverished, but like, what do you call those cities? Not cities, but co-ops and similar to Section 8, but government housing projects. Yeah, it will circle around project neighborhoods, right? And if you look suspicious, they're jumping out. They're putting you straight onto the hood of the car, draping you up, fucking you up, punching you up. You know what I mean? With, even if you're innocent, but you may just look like you just look like you're up to some shit. You know, see if you had guns or whatever. They didn't give a fuck. It was pressure. If you were driving around with tints, heavy tinted windows, pulling you over, dragging you out your car, they didn't give a fuck. Right? They would deal with the consequences later. They can give a fuck about you jakes, man. Right? Jeremiah 30 and 12. Oh, so okay. I'll start at 5 or 4. And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel, concerning Judah. Oh, Salakia. And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. Okay? So you Northern Kingdom, you Latinos, you Native Americans, and the Southern Kingdom, which is you Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. Okay? You see how the so-called white man came down on you Latinos with ICE, and now it's you niggas' turn, man. Okay, and it just is what it is. This is how the Lord set it up, right? For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness, right? You have these Edomites getting proud, okay, wanting to go revert back to their old ways to be able to call you niggas niggers, right? They call that freedom of speech. They should be able to speak their mind and have freedom of speech and call you nigger, right? And the best thing I could say to you, 2/3 Jake says, if a Edomite calls you a nigger, just tell them that they're going into slavery, and their king. Tell them that the kingdom is falling. They're losing their rulership. You gotta speak like a king, even if you're a 2/3. Fuck it, right? Tell them that the kingdom is falling. They're losing their rulership, and that they're going into slavery under you, right? That's what you gotta tell them, because the least of the kingdom, it will be a slave master unto you Edomites. Best believe that. The least in the kingdom gonna have you Edomites in subjection, man. Fuck you mean, right? So don't let these devils try and put fear in your heart over the fuck shit that they're going with, man. Nigger just means black, and that's the so-called white man. The so-called white man is the blackest person on the earth. He's the real, true nigger. All right. So once you understand the definitions of words, you don't give a fuck about what the fuck nigger means. You get what I'm trying to say? Nigger, 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 nigger. Are you offended? Are you offended? Right? So it says, ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Well, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Yeah, really Esau. Esau all shook and shit. He didn't even turn red. He just fucking white as snow. Damn nigger. Anyways, alas, Jeremiah 30 and 7, for that day is great, so that none is like it, It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, right? The Edomites. Yo, but this is talking about for the elect, right? The Edomites, they have a yoke upon our neck, spiritual yoke right now, right? Because we're still in his hand. But the Lord's going to break it off our neck spiritually and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God, Yahweh, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. That's right. Therefore, fear not, O my servant Jacob, the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but talking about the elect of Jacob, really, starting with, because only the servants of Jacob are the elect. Okay? Saith the Lord, neither be dismayed. And that's, you know what? I'm just going into a tangent because the elect is not only the 144,000, right? It's men, women, and children that are, related to the 144,000, you know? Or not even just that, but like, who the Lord has mercy on. Men, men, women, and children who gravitated toward this word, who are not of the 144,000, but they're still the elect, right? Whoever those are, man. But that's the beauty of this word, man. Right? That's to show you the Lord shows mercy. I'm, even going to you women, you brothers that have women, and you're not pushing this doctrine on them. You're not pushing nothing. They may know what you do, and you just respect it, and they don't question it, but they don't want to take heed of that. They don't want to follow after. That's cool. You're pleased to dwell with her. She's pleased to dwell with you, right? The Lord's gonna say, if the Lord see fit, he might save that woman, man. Right? And that's mercy, man. These people don't understand the mercies of the Lord, man. The Lord, the Lord creating you to be on this earth, and we're doing what we're doing, brothers. We're teaching. We're able-bodied. The Lord made us able-bodied, brothers. That's mercy, man. Right? And we can't thank the Lord enough for that, man. To be an able-bodied man, right? So this is a serious thing, you know. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee. We're scattered across the four corners of the earth, among all nations, right? You go to India, you're going to find Israelites. So the Lord's going to bring, you go to Iran, you're going to find Israelites, okay? Wherever you name the country, you're going to find Israelites, okay? Yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. That's right. And that's why the Lord's going to send Esau on your ass, man. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. And that's exactly what's going to take place upon you niggas, man. The Lord is going to send your enemy against you. He's going to show you That massa is the devil that the, the Israelites you saw in the corners was telling you about. And he never changed. He just had to hide his ways, right? Therefore, all they that devour thee, hold on, where are we? Yeah, it says verse 15. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. The Lord did it. It's not even the so called white man. So when you see Trump boasting and all the shit that he wants to do, it's not even him. It's the Lord that set him up to do that. Right? That's what you don't understand. So the time to come is going to get real. You know? Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be. Okay, so when did this prophecy come to place? When did this prophecy come to the pass? Because this is talking about the Israelites. All our enemies will go into captivity. So when did this happen? And it was supposed to be for forever. So when did this happen? You people are bugged out, man. This is a prophecy in itself. This whole scriptures I'm reading is a prophecy. And this is an even more future prophecy than the Jacob's trouble. This probably jumped, you know, I don't even know. I'm not even going to put a timeline on it, but this jumped some time to get to this point. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. And we are the outcasts of this world. People look down on us, and we're the elephant of the room. People, as soon as you walk into the room, best believe people are like, we had these motherfuckers in slavery. You best believe that. I don't give a fuck. But you better walk into the room and be like, yeah, I know you're the devil, and you going down. Right? And that's the mindset you're supposed to have, man, with these fucking devils. All right? Don't let these devils put fear in your heart, man. Okay, only fear Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's it. And that's all. So with that, I'm gonna close up. No really ratified. Say shalom until the next one.